Hello, Mr Beezy. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you, Rachel?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for coming to be interviewed with me virtually. Naturally, you are one of the first batch to sit on the sofa with me, my new online show. So it's a real pleasure to have you. First and foremost, let me ask you, how has COVID treated you?
For me, I've been okay because I've always been a firm believer of whenever you're faced with a tough situation, you have to learn how to adapt to it. So I think for me, I wasn't really knocked by it per se. I mean, I was initially because it's like, oh my gosh, what do I do now? But now that it's been like literally a year, you kind of adapt and you get used to a way of life and doing things. So I think for me, I've just learned how to live with COVID and adapt to it and put the necessary things in place.
Absolutely. And you are a motivational speaker. I think it's very important that you introduce yourself.
For the last 10 years, I literally travel all across the country, motivating young people in schools, in sixth forms, in colleges. I've, over the last, I would say 2 years, started, to motivate staff and employees at businesses. So I've worked with a few businesses like PwC and Sky and AIG, just to name a few. And I enjoy empowering people to stop doubting themselves, to reinstill that belief in themselves, and to really just transform their mindset so that they can take action.
And you've mentioned some real big names there, actually. How did you go about finding these clients, as it were?
With AIG, they were the first sort of big corporation that I worked with, and what happened was in their Birmingham branch, a lady used to work in the school that I'd spoken. And then she recommended that, she seen me speak and she said I'd be great to motivate the staff. So that's how I got that book in. And I knew someone who worked at Sky who wanted me to come and motivate his team, got that book in. And then I had a few talks with like some members of PwC virtually online. And then they're like, yeah, do you know what? We want you to come and speak to our social mobility team. And I did that. So that's just, some of the ways I've been able to connect with some of these big corporations.
And
Yeah.
it just goes to show, doesn't it? If you're good, people book you. I think that's what's happening here, isn't it, with you?
Yeah, I
And
think
it
yeah, I think it's a mixture of things. I think definitely you have to have some form of a talent, some form of value, I would say, to give people. And then I think you have to be consistent in what you offer as a person, as a speaker. So, I can't like put out a video this week or speak this week and then for the next 3 months be stagnant. I have to be consistent, and that's what I do online. I try to update people with my activity, my daily activity, what I'm doing. So I let them know this is where I'm speaking today, this is where I'm speaking tomorrow, just so that they can kind of follow my journey as well and see the sort of audiences that I'm engaging with.
fantastic. So the question I do have for you is, why did you venture into the kind of world of motivational, inspirational speaking? What was it? What thing was it that made you decide, haha, this is the moment for me to venture into this world?
If I'm being honest, motivational speaking found me. I never wanted to be a motivational speaker, but 10 years ago, I got given an opportunity. So there was a girl that I knew who worked for a speaking company. She was the admin, and she said she thought I'd be really good for it. And, I was a bit hesitant. I wasn't too sure. But I said, you know what, I'll come along, I'll observe the speakers in the company, and, we'll kind of take baby steps and take it from there.
Mm.
And being honest with you, I was at a stage in my life where, I was at a crossroads. My contract for the office job I was working at was coming to an end. And, I was really thinking about, what is the next chapter of my life looking like? So when I had this opportunity, I kind of jumped at it. And I think what happened was when I watched the speakers in person, they motivated me, they inspired me. And then it also got me thinking about my life and my future and what I want to do. And I think one of the key things that stood out to me was they didn't look like they was working. They enjoyed themselves. They was having jokes with the audience, and I loved it. And they traveled all across the country, so it really suited my personality because I don't like being stagnant in one place. I like to travel around. I like to engage different audiences,
Mm.
and um, the key for me though was when I had my first opportunity to speak to an audience.
Yeah.
For me, I was just myself. I just spoke, as we would say, I kept it real.
Yeah.
And what happened was I had people coming up to me after the talk. Oh my gosh, like you've changed my life. That was amazing. Like you really touched me. And I thought, oh wow, like, well, all I did was just keep it real with you. And then it took me about 2 years after speaking consistently where I was just like, "Do you know what? Yes, this is what I'm called to do. Like I can see myself doing this for the rest of my life. And as you can see, 10 years later, I'm still going strong.
Even speaking and engaging with you now, you feel the kind of passion and the fire in your belly and the eagerness to really do something good in the world. And I think you're really making your mark. As I told you earlier, you know, you are one of the first people on the sofa to be interviewed. We met some years ago, you know, via another channel, and I just knew that you were the right person to kind of bring on the sofa. So I'm quite happy to have you here. And even now, you're motivating me to kind of ask various other questions. But I accept we've only got 30 minutes on the clock. But tell me, you've already mentioned about the response from schools. So we know that schools love it. We know teachers love it. You've been, you know, you've got bookings via various networks. Do you have any real life testimonies from some of the pupils? Because I have seen some tweets on Twitter where people, you've tweeted a letter, for example, and you know, a pupil saying something like, you know, thank you, Mr. Beezy, for coming up for coming to speak to us. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be motivated to do my exam. So do you have any more testimonies like that you can share with me today?
I'll just literally read like my last few sort of Instagram DMs from students, because that's how they tend to engage me. Hi, Mr. Beezy. I'm from Newhall School and just wanted to say a massive thank you for your virtual talk today. It was inspiring and motivational. I feel like I now have the tools to make a plan and be successful. I've recently realized I have less self-confidence than I desire to and needed to hear what you had to say. Thanks again. So that's from one student. Then another student also sent this: good afternoon. I absolutely did not want to join this Zoom session. Even posted, oh my gosh, another pep talk organized by school. And it was my plan to leave in about 10 to 15 minutes after the start. But since you started talking, I realized I'm not going to leave. So I listened to the end. Thank you so much for that amazing session. So much emotional and personal stuff. It was actually one of the few things that seemed so helpful to me. And, you know, this is just 2 examples of, you know, and I've got loads.
How are you using those DMs? Are you, I mean, in terms of, I don't know how creative you are, but you could use them to create a book or something, or, you know, something which could really inspire somebody, you know, living out somewhere in the world, for example, who can get your book, read about you and see the real life testimonies. It would be really nice to see that. So that's one for you to think about. Another question, which I think is quite important, is I want to know what helps you stay motivated in order to motivate other people.
There's an accountability on my part where I'm a motivational speaker. So I think doing what I do for a living, I definitely do feel accountable, but I'm also not ignorant to the fact that I need to almost follow my own message because I don't want to be a hypocrite. So, you know, I was saying to students just recently in one of my talks that, you know, we're like cars, you know, there's only so far a car can go without it needing to be topped up with petrol. And, you know, motivation is the same, you know, there's only so far we can go without, you know, needing to top ourselves up with motivation. So what do? I listen to other motivational speakers who I find motivating. You know, I listen to podcasts, interviews, I listen to upbeat music that puts me in a good mood. I exercise because exercise for me helps me to be in a positive state of mind. It does wonders for my mental health. So, you know, just having a certain lifestyle, I continuously feed myself on a daily basis. So even when I'm exercising, you know, that puts me in a good mental state, and I'm listening to, you know, positive music when I'm exercising, or if I go on a walk or a run, you know, I might decide to listen to a podcast because I know it's feeding my mind. Absolutely. And then naturally, when I'm engaging people and I'm motivating people, that naturally keeps me motivated as well.
I would really love you to come and work with some of the young children that I work with in the capacity as a school governor. We have previously spoken about that. It didn't happen, but I think between now and certainly end of 2021, I would like to see you work with a number of schools in the local borough that I live at, but also some other schools across boroughs that I have a connection with. So we need to keep on talking to make sure this happens. What's your future vision for changing people's lives? What do you have in store for us?
I think for me, future-wise, it's to just continue to take this all across the world. I want to build a team of young people to do what I do as well. I want to train them up because I'm a firm believer of, you know, I'm only one man, but, you know, 10 of us can have such a greater reach So I really want to train people in how to be impactful speakers, and not to just speak from videos that they've watched or quotes that they've seen online, but to use their life as a testimony to inspire people, to find a message, that motivational message through their life experience, and how they can use that to impact someone else's life, to inspire someone to take action to go and be great. So my future vision is to build a big Mr Beezy team. You know, it don't matter what color you are, what gender you are, as long as you have a message, we are ready to take you on and train you so that you can continue the work for generations to come.
Fantastic. Two things on that. One, I would love to follow that journey. On the Sofa, would love to follow that journey, televise some of the real challenges that you're going to face doing that, but also the successes. So again, we keep talking. Another question is, who across the world, across the globe, or even those that have passed now, who are the two people that you say motivate you the most, or have motivated you the most?
Okay. So number one, Eric Thomas.
Yes.
He's the number one motivational speaker in the world. High school dropout, you name it. He speaks to NFL teams, corporate 500 companies, schools in America. He travels all across the world doing it. And for me, his story is just so inspiring, number one. But his energy, his energy really just gives me motivation. And I think that I've adapted that from even him. So where I come with a lot of energy, I kind of learned that from Eric Thomas, because I found that with the energy that he releases, it motivates me. And I said, you know what, if that energy can motivate me, then I need to ensure that whenever I'm speaking, I'm also releasing a certain level of high energy so that can motivate others as well. So definitely Eric Thomas is my number one. Absolutely. And then my second one would be Will Smith. Yes. Just growing up, watching The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and just seeing his journey and the amount of movie roles that he's done, the work ethic he put in. I think Will Smith he opened doors for the next generations with Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You know, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, for example, is timeless. You know, you've got kids of today that love Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and it was made years ago. And when you see the different movie roles that he's done, he's so dynamic, his work ethic, what he's been able to achieve in his life, for me, I just find that very, very, very inspirational. And he definitely did influence me when I was growing up.
Fantastic. Thank you. What is your one message to parents, pupils, and teachers about your work and how you can support them? This question is coming from a place of whoever might view this video between you and I, if they're a teacher, a parent, or a pupil, I want them to say, I want Mr. Beezy in our schools. I want Mr. Beezy talking to my children and my pupils. So what's that message you have for them when they view this interview?
You don't know what you have until you try it. And I'm not gonna come with this sales pitch. I'm not a cheesy speaker, but you know what? I have one job to do, and that's to release value. We are of the same mission, which is to empower our young people, to empower children, and that's exactly what I do. And there's anything I can say is I connect with these young people and staff in a way that a lot of people don't do. Now let me tell you why that is. When people are familiar with people, you have less impact on them. So parents, you'll have less impact on your children because they are familiar with you. Teachers have less impact on students because they are familiar with them. When you've been teaching a student for 3 to 4 years, they learn your habits, they learn your traits, and you lose impact. Not that what you're saying doesn't have value, but it's just that familiarity that doesn't allow it to sink in the way that it should. So here's what I do. I come and I merge the gap. So I come and reinforce the messages that the parents have been telling their children for years. I reinforce the messages the teachers have been saying for years. And I do it in a manner where they can laugh, but also take on a serious message that makes them to think and reflect. And, you know, you'll hear me within my talks where, you know, I make references to family. So they, you know, acknowledge the importance of family. I make references to how important the role of a teacher is, because they seem to be at war with teachers and they don't understand this war that they've now, you know, agreed to be a part of.
Yes.
And I kind of just to help to change their mindset towards how they think about school, how they see their future. And it just puts them in a state of mind where now, once I've left, they now are able to change the relationships they have with their teachers, change the relationships they have with their parents, so that they can now go on to get the success that they want. Because a lot of young people at times feel like maybe their parents and teachers don't understand them, or they almost feel like they're an obstacle to their success. And what I do is I kind of let them pause, say, look, that's not actually what's happening. Your parents want the best for you. Your teachers want the best for you, and listen to what I say. And the reason why I get them to listen to what I say, I use examples of what I was like when I was their age. So I'm not just, hey, listen to me and work hard. I'm like, look, when I was your age, this is what I did. When I was your age, yes, I also had challenges with laziness. When I was your age, yes, I also doubted myself, but this is how I overcame it.
Yes.
Because I find that you have to give them the tools of how. With a lot of young people, they want to know how to be successful,
Yes.
how to overcome that struggle. What we do, or what a lot of speakers tend to do, is they come with the, yeah, work hard and you'll be great.
Yes.
That's amazing. But we need to give them practical tools of how they can do it. When I come into schools and businesses and any organization that I work with, I show you practical steps on how you can make the changes. I don't just tell you about the change you need to make, because we are already aware of the changes that we need to make. And I say to people all the time, it's not that people don't know what they do. People just simply don't do what they know.
Absolutely.
And what I want to do is I want to just come in and show you practical steps of how you can make the changes. And that's exactly what I do.
That's a perfect answer. Thank you. My last question for the serious interview is one message for everybody and anybody that's going to watch this interview. What message would you give them to stay motivated, especially during COVID?
Stop doubting yourself. Doubt is a liar.
Brilliant.
Doubt has stopped more people from being successful than failure has.
Brilliant.
And we have got to that stage in our lives where we believe in our doubts and we doubt our beliefs. And I need you to get back to that stage in your life where you doubt your doubts and you believe your beliefs.
Wow.
Doubt your doubts and believe your beliefs again. Why is this so important? I say to people this all the time. Failure and mistakes are two of the greatest teachers you'll ever meet in your life. Do yourself a favor and learn from them. Failing does not make you a failure. Failing actually teaches you how to be successful on your next attempt.
Absolutely.
Mistakes teach you how to be successful on your next attempt, because now you know what you need to get right. So don't allow these things to discourage you. Find the lesson in them and use that to apply it to your next attempt so that you can now get the success that you deserve.
Absolutely. Again, another fantastic answer. And I can feel the energy in the room at the moment, and the film crew, I think, have been motivated by you. I just hope I don't lose them, Mr. Beezy. Right, some personality questions now. I'm going to start off with a scenario-based question. And this is a scenario. You found yourself in financial difficulty due to personal reasons. You see somebody drop a bundle of money. You pick up the money, but by the time you glance up, they've suddenly disappeared. Do you, A, give the money to the local police with a description of the person, leave the money with a nearby shop in case the person returns to look for the money, keep it as this is probably a gift from the universe to you, or share it between some local youths hanging around the area?
I mean, how much money are we talking about?
We're talking a bundle. When I say a bundle of money, we're talking a big wad of money. So you know already we're talking 3 or 4 grand or more potentially.
Okay.
Yes, it's a bundle. Yeah.
You know what? I have to be honest with you and say, I think my initial thought would be to pick it up and find the person. And if I couldn't find the person, then naturally, I think in my subconscious, yes, give it to the police, because I'm just at this stage in my life now. I'm going to keep it real. The old me would have kept the money.
Yes.
You know, the old me would have kept the money. And I know it sounds, you know, people want to come with this, oh, well, I'm just going to say I'll give it to the police because
Yes.
that what sounds great. And I don't want to say what sounds great, but hear what I'm saying. So the old me would have kept the money. But where I'm at today, 2021, I'm at a stage where, do you know what? Just because something is easy, it doesn't mean it's right, right? So yes, there's a lot I could do with 3-4 grand, but then what could that stop me from achieving in the future? I don't want to lose opportunities because maybe my spirit is not sitting right with what I've done. So for me, I would definitely hand it into the police, and I'll know that another opportunity to make that 3-4 grand would find me because I did the right thing. So I'll
Absolutely.
definitely, if it's not mine, I'm not going to take it.
Another scenario-based personality question. You're late for a big client meeting and you know it would not look good if you walked into the meeting 30 minutes late. Do you miss the meeting saying that you're sick, casually walk in as if you're early, attend the meeting but orchestrate an exaggerated limp, or make a big excuse about a massive car accident driving into the meeting?
None of the above.
None of
I
the
would,
above.
I would walk into the meeting and I would just honestly give my apologies, because I think people respect honesty. We got to a stage in our lives where I've got to make this big excuse, or I'm so scared that I'm just not even going to bother show up. But you know what? I'm going to show up and I'm going to be honest and say, look, I put my hands up. Why? Because I know the value that I have. I know the value of the relationship. And one thing I really cherish is relationships.
Yes.
So for me, I wouldn't want to lose that relationship. So there's been times in my past even where, do you know what, I was meant to do a booking at a school and I forgot to put it in my diary and it messed up the school. So what did I do? I gave them the booking for free. I went to go and do it for free and lost out on the money. But I didn't see it as losing out on money. I cherished the relationship more. So if I know I'm in the wrong, I'm going to send my apologies and I'm going to do whatever it takes to rectify it. If I've got to come into the meeting, I won't make a big sort of entrance. I'll definitely come in like subtly and try and find a corner. And then after the meeting, address my client and send my apologies.
Excellent. Okay, thank you for that. None of the above isn't part of isn't on this answer sheet. However, it's a very good answer. It's a very good answer, and it's your answer. So I totally accept that. The last set is just the options here. So again, what do you prefer, shower or bath?
Shower.
Cinema or Netflix?
Cinema.
Uber or black cab?
Uber.
Boris Johnson or Keir Starmer?
Keir Starmer.
Gym or jog?
Gym.
In terms of popcorn, sugar or salt?
Sugar.
And do you prefer to read or listen to music?
Listen to music.
Fantastic. Well, that's the end of the personality questions, and you've had hope you've enjoyed the time here, and it's been a fantastic interview. Any kind of last comments about where people can find you, your Twitter handle, Facebook, Instagram, please tell us.
Okay, so you can find me at www.mrbeezy.com. That is Mr. and BEEZY.com. On Twitter, I am at @thereal_Mr Beezy. Instagram is Mr_Beezy. And if you type in Mr Beezy on YouTube, I'll come up. Those are kind of how you can find me on social media. Apologies, I'm not on TikTok yet.
Yeah.
You know,
you need to be. You need to be. Need some motivational videos on there. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm looking out for that.
I'm working on sorting out the TikTok sides of things.
It's been fantastic. Thank you so much. And I really was honest when I said I would love to follow your journey in growing your motivational team. OntheSofa's here to stay. We want to really capture those that are changing communities, those that are empowering others, inspiring others. And I think that you have ticked all the boxes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Take care. Thanks for coming. See you soon. Bye-bye now.